Here we go. We're doing exponents, and we're doing with negative signs. I think I wrote that wrong. Can you guys open up to 2.1 and let me see what that says actually? I think I might have wrote that wrong. Yep, no, it's right. It's right. Exponents. We're doing exponents with negative signs and negative signs. Here we go. All right, we're going to learn how to multiply. So you can, actually, I would suggest that you open up your book to where we are. And if I was to write 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 24, isn't there an easier way to write that?
6 times 4.
6 times 4, right? I can do 6 times 4. There's got to be a more efficient way. So if I do 6 times 4 equals 24, that is way better, right? And that's more efficient. I don't want to write 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. I want to write 6 times 4, all right? All right, now, what if, and I can write it like that, right? Now, what if I did 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 equals 1,296? Isn't there a faster way to do that? 6 to the power of 4. There's got to be an efficient way, and it is 6 to the power of 4. So we're going to do exponents now. Maybe you've already seen exponents in your life before.
I have.
They look like this. We have the big one on the bottom is called the base. The little one at the top is called the exponent, and the whole thing is either called an exponent or a power. Are you guys with me so far? You've seen these before. All right, now we're going to have exponents with negatives. Now, I'm going to put a negative inside there. I'll have negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. How do I write that with an exponent?
Negative 3 to the power of 4.
Be really careful. Really, I go negative 3 to the power of 4. I'm going to disagree right now. I need
to the power of negative 4.
No, almost. You're really close. This right here, what I just wrote, means this. Negative 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Because the exponent's only on the 3, it's not on the negative also. How can I tell it to...
Isn't it?
How can I tell it to be... Because this means negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 2 negative 3. But I only have one negative. How do I write it so that I mean all of the negative and the 3 get
Then
to
you do
power
a
4?
negative, make the 4 negative. Make the power, or the x, the power 4.
That's an interesting idea, but it will change something. We're going to talk about negative exponents today too, and it won't be that. Anybody have any ideas how I can group the negative and the 3 together so that the 4 will be on it? How do we group things in math?
Parentheses?
Yes, parentheses. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to undo all that, and I'm going to put a parentheses right here. What is negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3? Positive, negative. Which is it?
It is
Positive. Okay, positive what?
Positive.
What do these 3's equal?
It's 81.
It's 81. It's 9 and this other 9? Yes, 81. Positive 81. Okay. How many negatives or what exponent did I have? I had 4 negatives and I had the exponent of 4, correct? And did I have a positive or negative number?
Positive.
Positive. All right. What if I did this?
Negative.
The answer is going to be negative. And how do I rewrite this one?
It's negative 27.
Negative 3 to the 3rd power. Is that how I write it?
Well, I have to put parentheses.
I have to put parentheses. Okay. So I have to put parentheses. And what is 3 times 3 times 3?
Negative 27.
In this case, it's negative 27. All right. Beautiful. All right. Right here, I had 4. I had an exponent of 4 at the top. And the second one here, I had an exponent of 4. This one, I had an exponent of 3. One of them, I had an even number as my exponent. One, I had an odd number. How do even and odds affect the answer?
Well, if it's even, then it's going to be positive.
Okay, so if we have an even number of negatives, it's going to be positive. What if I have an odd number of negatives?
It's going to be negative.
Okay, we did this before when we were doing multiplication. Okay. All right, we already talked about this right here. If I have a parentheses, negative 5 squared, this is really important. This means negative 5 times itself. Is that going to be a positive answer or a negative answer?
Negative. I'm positive.
Positive what?
Positive 10.
25.
I'm a 25.
Very good. Okay, this one though, right here, be very careful. This is going to trick you if you're not careful. And I don't want it to trick you. Don't let it trick you. Is that squared on the 5, on the negative, or both?
Just on 5.
It's just on the 5. At the top up here, the top one, I keep doing that. On the top one, the squared was on both. But this one, the squared is always on the 5, so it looks like this. Negative.
5 squared and you add the negative.
That is exactly right. It's the 5 squared, then you tack the negative on at the end. Negative 25. Don't let this trick you.
Oh, no.
Okay? Questions?
It's gonna be tricky.
Don't let it trick you.
Yeah, trick me too.
Okay, let's do some of the examples in your book. This is on 2.1. I didn't give the page number because some of you have a different thing than your book. We're going to do numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Raise your hand when you have the answers for those. All right, let's do 3 to the 4th power. I think you should, in your memory, have 3 to the 4th power memorized. It's the same as 9 squared, okay? It's 81. Is it positive or negative? Positive. Okay, what about 2 to the 6th?
It's 64.
Now, I'm going to stop there for a minute. And you have an exponent button on your calculator that you might not know where it is. It's something that they call a caret. It's a pointing up. It's a pointing up arrow like thing. And for most of you, if you have TI calculators, it's under the clear button. Let me see yours. Let me see if it's under the clear button for you. Yes, it is. It's under. Yours is a little different. It is an X to the Y button, probably. Let me see if I can find it. That's the squared button. You have a squared button.
Okay.
But then
I haven't used it in so long. It's all June.
that's a 10 to the power. Where's your? I don't know, Zeb. I'll help you find it in a minute. So this is if you didn't know what 2 to the 6th power is and you couldn't figure it out quick in your head. Are you ready? So you would type in a 6, a 2, then you type in that caret and you type in the 6, and it would spit out the answer. Yours caret's right there under the clear button. Okay.
Wait, hang on. What do you do?
So type in a 2, then type in that caret. That I call that my to the button. That's to the 2 to the 6th.
Wait a minute. Hey, I got it.
You did? Oh, good. Oh, it's right there. It's that caret right there. Yeah, okay, you have it too.
Wait, what?
2 to the 6th. I call that my to the button. To the. That's the to the button. All right? And then you should get 32, correct?
64.
I'm sorry. I keep saying that. Thank you very much for helping me. All right, now, number 3. Is your answer going to be negative or positive?
Negative.
Is that because of the exponents of 3 or because of the negative in front?
Negative in front.
Because of the negative in front. What's being cubed right there? The negative, the 12, or both?
Just the 12.
Just the 12. Personally, I do not know what 12 to the 3rd power is. I would have to look it up, or I have to do it on my calculator. Some people did it outright, and it's wonderful. What is 12 to the 3rd power? How much?
1,728.
1,728, and there's a negative in front. Okay, good job.
Well,
Now, last one on this page, number 4, is what's being cubed? The negative, the 2, or both?
What?
What's being cubed? The negative, the 2, or both? Both. Okay, so is it going to be a negative answer or a positive answer? Negative. And 2 to the 3rd power, don't do it on your calculator. Memorize it as 8. Memorize it as 8. Your CC background should tell you had a bunch of those, your squares and cubes. You should know quite a bit of them. All right. This is what you learned on that first lesson. You learned how to evaluate a exponent. You learned how to evaluate an exponent.